Hold on. I gotta look that up. Are you serious? PSVR 2. They're saying that PSVR 1 games won't work on the PSVR 2. Hold on. I gotta find this. Do you have a link? Solid Python to like an article or something, or a Twitter post or something. PSVR 2 won't be compatible with PSVR games, Sony confirms. Sony says it's because the PSVR 2 is designed to deliver a truly next-gen VR experience. Not really sure what that means. They're not compatible. I just read that. PSVR 2 has much more advanced features like all new controllers with haptic feedback and adaptive triggers and inside-out tracking. The eye tracking and the headset 3D audio all come together, of course, so this means developing PSVR 2 requires a whole different approach from the original PlayStation VR game. Okay, there doesn't appear to be any technical reason why PSVR games wouldn't be able to be ported to the PSVR 2, but the number of developers likely willing to do that work is unknown. PlayStation VR games that debuted exclusively on the platform, such as Moss 2, have later been ported to other headsets like the Meta Quest 2, showing that it can be done. That just doesn't, like, even that stuff doesn't make sense. So the eye tracking, the eye tracking thing, maybe what they're doing is they like track where you're looking on the little screens, and then they render that at a higher resolution and everything else in the peripheral vision at a lower resolution. But that just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand that. I don't get that. Like, for some people might look at that and be like, oh, well, the Jim Ryan move would be to like go and allow backwards compatibility, because then they could charge $70, for each re-release on the PSVR 2. But I'm not sure if that's actually the case, because I think the PlayStation 5 being capable of running PS4 games, PS3 games, PS2 games, yeah, it's capable of running it. You just have to port it, and it takes effort, time, and money to do that. And I don't think they want to do that. Whereas if it was redeveloped or remastered specifically for the PlayStation VR 2, you have to buy it again, instead of just it being backwards compatible in your library already because you already bought it. I tell you what, man, this Jim Ryan dude, he pisses me off. He really pisses me off. Every little move he makes is just so short-sighted, and it's often made in really bad faith too. Like all the crap they've been doing with the Activision stuff, being like, oh, well, we want Xbox to let us have rights to Call of Duty because we want our players to be able to play. We want rights for our players to enjoy the games they want to enjoy. Meanwhile, they're paying for like weeks of early access. I think it's 1 week, actually. It's like a full week of early access for the new Warzone game, or the new Call of Duty game on PlayStation. Like, I don't know what check they wrote for that, but like, come on. It's asinine is what it is. I'm not gonna freak out. I'm fine. Nobody likes Jim Ryan. I wouldn't be surprised if people working PlayStation don't like him either. I still remember when Jim Ryan said who would play this about backwards compatibility early last gen. I don't know. Again, for him, it's just, it again reminds me of Tim Cook with Apple. And it's frustrating because there's just very, very little, there's very little like vision anymore. I mean, like, you look at these iPhones, this lineup, especially like the iPhone 14 is just the iPhone 13. Like, they use the same chips, but they repackage them and sell them as a new thing for more. Like, it's ridiculous. And it's the same thing. It's just milking it dry. But the reason they get away with this, like, we can hand wave it away. Well, it's greed. It's this or that. But the reason they get away with it is because the fanboys and girls make excuses for it. And you just have to call them out for it. Like, for the iPhones, like, obviously, I just got this morning. I've yet to set it up. I'm gonna try it, but like I got the Pro Max because it's different, because there's something actually unique about this phone. It's changed. But the like iPhone 14 is the same thing as the phone from last year. Like improved cameras, probably technically speaking, yeah. But it's like the same thing. I don't know. You'd think they'd make PSVR 1 games work on PSVR 2 to get hundreds of games working on the platform day one. I guess that makes too much sense. Well, I think it's to control the ecosystem for one. And I mean, again, if they clearly delineate the different headsets, then if you want, say, the Batman Arkham VR, whatever they call it, I think it's just Batman Arkham VR. I think it's just Arkham VR, whatever it is, that one, just a quick like 45-minute thing. They just make it so you have to re-release it for the PSVR 2, you know? And so it's just dumb.